Hi, my name is Tom. We're planning a vacation where we're going to do some sightseeing. We're going to be able to see some wild horses and some birds and look out on the water. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to find a way where I could go ahead and actually see things at a distance. So I picked up this little monoscope telescope thing, and I want to kind of talk about it and kind of show you how I like it so far. So here's the actual monoscope. This is what you get. It's handheld, so it's nice and small. That's kind of nice. It's very light. It's clearly has some real lenses in there. It's not like all plastic, but this is kind of a rubberized rubber plastic out here, so it is a little tougher than you'd think. It's clearly a metal body, so it is strong enough. It does come with the lens caps kind of built onto it. Let's see here. Boop, there we go. There's one coming down. That's the actual front lens. That just kind of stays on. That's nice. And this back lens does come off, and then you look through this side and you see out here. It has little knobs. We'll talk about all that stuff in a moment. And then the bottom it actually has a little screw, and that screw is good for two things. One, you can actually put a wrist strap onto it. You can actually screw this in and then have a little wrist strap so you can kind of carry it on your wrist, just kind of let it dangle there. That's fine. Or it also comes with a tripod, and the tripod actually works fairly well as well. You just, again, screws right in. It's a standard tripod screw size, so if you've got your own tripod, go for it. Just a little simple tripod, little feet kind of come out to about this far. Then you can kind of tighten the ball because you can kind of angle it around. But there you go, simple tripod. It also comes with a carrying case, like a velvet case you put it into. The actual monoscope will fit in here, and you can draw string it nice and close, so it's kind of just put it in your luggage that way. And then here's the thing that I kind of really liked about it. This is kind of what sold me on the whole thing. Uh, so I have my monoscope here, and I want to go ahead and I want to capture something that I see in it. That's where this device comes in. And these are actually hard to find. I actually got this monoscope exclusively because it actually had this included. So I'm going to put that on there. Just remember, this is the side you look into. And then here, you can go ahead and mount a smartphone or an iPhone or whatever you want. So I'm going to go ahead. This is just kind of a sample phone here. Let's see how we do this here. Here we go. It's spring loaded. So it's sampled. It's there now. It'll just sit there and rotate around. Okay. So what I'm going to do is this. So I'm going to take that lens and I'm going to move the lens up. Now what I would normally do is I turn the camera on. Whoops. I've turned the camera on and I push it up and I get my lens worked out just right on the hole in this, and then I would tighten it with this screw. And you tighten it in, then as you move around, your phone does not move. It stays, the lens stays looking through the monoscope, and then you can sit there and you can see what you see on the screen itself, and then you can kind of look out and you can kind of record things as you're doing it. You can take pictures or you can record video depending upon what your smartphone can do. That is really clever. If you happen to have a smartphone, and this is an older smartphone right here, that has multiple lenses, that's fine. All you do is turn on your camera app, hold your finger over each lens until you figure out which lens it's using for either video or photo or telephoto, or whatever you're doing with your smartphone. You just kind of figure out which lens is actually working. You say, ah, it's this bottom lens. And then you line up that bottom lens and you tighten it all in and you're fine. All right, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to use this again. This is just an iPhone 8. I'm going to use my iPhone 12 Pro, which I'm actually recording on, and I'm going to just kind of give you a sample of what this looks like. So this is my backyard. There's my puppy. And the house next door, the peak of that house right there is probably about, 60, 70 feet away. I'm going to go ahead and use my monocular and kind of focus in on that branch and or the peak of that house to kind of show you the magnification ability. And here we are. Here is the peak of that house. I'm fiddling with the focus a little bit. Let's see here. That's probably pretty good, but you can kind of see how much closer that is. My hands are a little shaky. That's where a tripod comes in, because at the point where you have so much magnification, it's hard to keep it straight. You can see on my phone that it does actually make a ring. Like there's a lot of black space, but that's how looking into a binocular will work. I can kind of move around. I can see the side of my corner of my house there. I can see my phone is trying to focus there. I can control it. I can control on that light bulb with a hanging light. I can control the magnifier, the monocular, and kind of change the focus there. That's getting worse, sorry. Now I can kind of change where I'm focusing on. There we go. And now I have the light bulb in focus. And it's sitting there landscape right now. A lot of people do it portrait. I'm doing it landscape just to just for comparison purposes, and it works well. Now if I move back to that house, it's out of focus, so I have to go ahead and turn the knob on top of the monocular and kind of again just kind of focus it back in, and there we go. It says this is fairly waterproof. I'm not willing to test it, but it does work pretty well. So here you go. You can kind of see the results. So this is more or less how I had it hooked onto my monocular for the landscape. I just kind of put it to the side and kind of aimed into that little hole there. It wiggled a little bit because I was pulled it out. It is a spring-loaded mechanism, so it's a little tight at times, but it was able to fit my iPhone 12 just fine, 12 Pro just fine. And then this thing just pops right off whenever you're done with it. It just kind of just pops right off. It's tight, but it's not too tight. There we go. This thing can actually push up and down for whether you have glasses or not. You can see you can kind of bump that out there. If you have glasses, you can bump it back in. That's fine. All of my focusing was mostly done with this little knob right here. You just turn that back and forth, and you can go back and forth. You know, you can go 10, 15 turns with it to kind of get it focused. And then this little ring right here will actually go ahead and also just focus a little bit extra, a little fine focus. I don't really use that a whole lot. I was mostly using this for the demonstration there. So yeah, it works pretty well. I'm excited about it. I can't wait to go ahead and actually try it out with like horses and birds and tall ships. We're going to go ahead and see in the water. So there, this works really well. And again, honestly, I love the idea of being able to capture some of my things with this little device here, and it'll fit right on there. The other nice thing is this, if you already have binoculars or you already have an old telescope somewhere, this will work with that. It's a standard eyepiece size. I have an old pair of binoculars. This happens to work just perfectly. I can't guarantee it'll work on every single set of binoculars, but this little thing right here actually kind of makes it well worth it. Even if you don't even need one of these, you can actually get this as just the thing you're buying, and you can consider you get this as an extra. But both pieces actually work pretty well, and I recommend them. And they've been a lot of fun so far. I'm looking forward to using them on vacation.